Okay, we're going to talk about estimating probability using simulation. This is a pretty simple concept. Generally, you'll have some sort of problem or some sort of chance outcome that you want to look into. Let's say the chance of having a boy or a girl. If you're going to have a child. You know, um, you could always do the hypothetical, and you can always look at that, as giving them, as a 50% chance of either. Or you could actually run through a simulation and try to figure out, well, what might actually happen here. We've looked at the law of large numbers would say, hey, we should expect 50-50 over time. Well, we could actually simulate it and see maybe what could exactly happen. So what we need to do is we need to set up some sort of simulation. We need to look at the probabilities and try to figure out the best way to do that. Now, for 50-50, one of the best things would be, a coin toss. Where you say boys equal, heads, and girls tails. You could say something like that, and you could flip a coin repeatedly. And you would end up with something, you might end up with heads, tails, 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 heads, some sort of sequence that would say, okay, so boy, girl, 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 boy. That's just a way to simulate an experiment over a period of time. One other method that people really like to use is they like to use digits. So 50%, you could do this in different ways. You could do a random digit. So let's see here. So pick random digits. Now, our digits are numbered 1 through 9. And that makes 10. So you would need to pick 5 of them to go with the boys and 5 of them to go with the girls. So pick those, and those go with the girls. Okay? So anytime that you randomly pick a number 0 to 4, you get a boy. Every time you pick a number 5 to 9, you get a girl. And sometimes you'll see that in random number tables, and that's just because we've assigned them in that particular way. But you could do them in so many different styles as well. So this one, the random digits, is a personal favorite because you can really get the probabilities very fine, which is nice. So let's look at one that might be a little bit more complex. Let's say you had 10% of, let's talk about, let's say going to, getting a doctorate. Let's say that only, 1 out of every 40 people, or let's say 1 out of every 50 people get a doctorate. So, so doctor or not. So the probability of being a doctor is 1 out of 50. So it'd be 2%. And the probability of not being a doctor would be 48%. Or 98%. So we may need to do our random numbers. We may need to pick random numbers. And so we would do something like 0, or let's say maybe 1 to 100. And so we can use this on the calculator. This is our rand int feature, where we would pick like 1 versus 100, and then however many times that we want to pick it. And so we just have to pre-assign which numbers we would give to the doctor and which numbers we would give to the not doctors. So we would say, before we start, we would say, doctors get the numbers 1 and 2. And not gets 3 to 100. This is appropriate because, we end up with 2 out of 100 options and we end up with 98 out of 100 options. The probabilities make sense if this is in fact picking randomly, which it's supposed to be. So it's a way for us to simulate these issues. And any type of probability experiment that we know what the probabilities are supposed to be will work out in this way.